The sudden dismissal of a senior United States general by Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth has ignited a fierce storm across Washington, the Pentagon, and the wider intelligence community, raising concerns about the erosion of military independence and the increasing politicization of national security. The general, who led an agency responsible for delivering impartial intelligence assessments, was relieved of duty after his evaluation of Iranian missile strikes contradicted the narrative advanced by former President Donald Trump. This case has revived memories of earlier battles between truth and politics inside the American defense system and has triggered deep anxieties about the future of U.S. credibility abroad and the morale of its armed forces at home. The controversy centers on Iran's retaliatory missile strikes in January 2020 following the U.S. drone operation that killed General Qasem Soleimani, the commander of Iran's Quds force. At the time, President Trump appeared before cameras to assure the public that no American service members had been injured and that the strikes caused minimal damage. That message was part of a broader White House effort to project strength and claim victory in the standoff. However, the Pentagon soon confirmed that more than 100 American troops suffered traumatic brain injuries from the blasts, exposing a gap between political messaging and battlefield reality. The intelligence agency under the dismissed general's leadership was among the first to deliver accurate assessments of the injuries, the infrastructure damage, and the strategic implications of the strikes. These reports, which circulated within the Pentagon and across the intelligence community, reportedly infuriated Trump, who felt undermined by what he viewed as exaggerated findings that challenged his carefully crafted public narrative. When Pete Hegseth, a longtime Trump ally and Fox News personality, assumed the role of Defense Secretary nominee, he moved quickly to stamp his authority on the Pentagon. According to multiple defense sources, Hegseth confronted the general about the assessments, accusing him of producing politically harmful intelligence. Within days, the general was dismissed from his position, an extraordinary decision given the sensitivity of his post and the importance of objective reporting for military decision-making. Supporters of Hegseth argued that the general's approach undermined civilian leadership and created unnecessary friction with the commander-in-chief, while critics described the move as a direct attack on the principle of speaking truth to power. Military analysts and former defense officials warned that this episode could set a dangerous precedent. Intelligence officers may hesitate to provide unfiltered assessments if they fear professional retaliation. Retired generals have already voiced alarm, noting that the bedrock of America's security system depends on accurate and apolitical intelligence. General Mark Hertling, a former U.S. Army commander, emphasized that punishing analysts for delivering unwelcome facts undermines the integrity of the entire defense establishment. According to him, once the truth is subordinated to politics, both soldiers in combat and policymakers in Washington are left dangerously exposed. Trump's shadow looms large over the affair. The former president has long claimed that elements of the military and intelligence services formed part of a deep state working against him. The fallout from the Iran missile strike reports in 2020 left a lasting resentment, and allies close to Trump revealed he never forgave the Pentagon for acknowledging troop injuries that contradicted his public assertions. With Hegseth now in a leadership role at the Pentagon, Trump's wish for a purge of dissenting voices appears to be taking shape. Inside the military ranks, the dismissal has unsettled many officers. Privately, some expressed fear that career progression may now depend more on political loyalty than merit or truth. One serving colonel, speaking anonymously, warned that if professionals are removed simply for reporting facts, the military ceases to function as an impartial institution and drifts into dangerous politicization. Such concerns could drive talented officers away from service, eroding the long-standing ethos of duty, honor, and country. The implications for U.S. policy toward Iran are profound. With tensions in the Middle East still simmering, accurate intelligence is essential for avoiding escalation and making sound strategic choices. If intelligence is massaged to suit political talking points, Washington risks misjudging Tehran's intentions or capabilities. Iranian officials and media have already seized on the controversy, portraying it as proof of dysfunction and dishonesty within the American system. For adversaries, the perception that truth is suppressed for political gain offers propaganda ammunition and may encourage riskier behavior. The reaction from Congress has been sharp and divided. Democratic leaders condemned the firing as a dangerous politicization of the military and vowed to hold hearings to investigate. Senator Jack Reed, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, declared that silencing truth-tellers jeopardizes both national security and the lives of American service members. Some Republicans quietly expressed discomfort, though Trump-aligned figures like Senator Josh Hawley defended Hegseth by asserting that civilian control of the military must be paramount and that generals should not contradict elected leaders. Historians have noted parallels to past clashes between political leaders and military officers, such as President Harry Truman's firing of General Douglas MacArthur during the Korean War. Yet the circumstances differ sharply. MacArthur's dismissal was rooted in policy disagreements, not accusations of providing accurate intelligence. In the current case, the heart of the issue is truth itself, raising troubling questions about whether facts are now negotiable in matters of war. The dismissed general has not spoken publicly, consistent with military traditions of restraint, but close associates describe him as deeply dismayed. They emphasize his reputation for integrity and impartial service across a long career. One retired colleague remarked that his only offense was delivering an honest assessment, and history will ultimately vindicate his stance. The silence from the general himself only underscores the gravity of the situation and the professionalism with which he has chosen to endure it. Allies abroad are also watching closely. NATO officials, who depend heavily on American intelligence to coordinate joint operations, worry that the credibility of U.S. reporting could be compromised. In Europe, defense commentators warned that politicization of American intelligence would weaken trust among allies and make collective responses to threats less reliable. Meanwhile, in Tehran, state media gleefully highlighted the firing as evidence that Washington cannot tolerate inconvenient truths. As the story develops, questions remain about whether Congress will act decisively, whether other officers will resign in protest, and how Hegseth plans to navigate mounting scrutiny. Some insiders suggest that further dismissals of officials seen as disloyal may follow, deepening the crisis. For now, the incident stands as a stark reminder of the fragile balance between civilian control of the military and the necessity of independent professional judgment. The dismissal of a senior general over an inconvenient intelligence assessment marks a watershed moment in U.S. civil-military relations. It tests the resilience of American institutions against political pressure and raises the alarming possibility that truth itself has become subordinate to partisan loyalty. For soldiers in the field, allies overseas, and adversaries watching closely, the stakes could not be higher. Whether the United States reaffirms its commitment to honest intelligence or slides further into politicization will shape not only the credibility of its armed forces but also its standing in the world for years to come.